Beloved, hear me in the Spirit. When God begins to shift the trajectory of your life, He does not send whispers. He sends warnings wrapped in revelation. There is a stirring in the atmosphere, a divine announcement moving toward you with precision and intentionality. God told me to warn you, someone wealthy, someone unusual, someone positioned outside your normal circles is about to be drawn to your destiny. You are stepping into a season where favor will not negotiate, it will locate you. Resources will not be requested, they will be released. Doors will not open because you knocked, they will open because heaven has authorized your arrival. As this word goes forth, the frequency of this prayer will align you with supernatural provision. You are being ushered into the realm where miracles move toward the sound of your obedience, and financial breakthroughs become the natural consequence of divine attraction. Prepare your spirit, because what is about to choose you is not ordinary, and what you are about to step into is not optional. It is ordained. Your next level will be initiated by divine attraction, not human effort. And when heaven decides that your time has come, everything connected to your destiny becomes magnetized toward you. There is a moment in the life of every believer when striving ceases and alignment begins, when the weight of self-effort lifts and the orchestration of God becomes undeniable. You are stepping into that moment. This is the shift where you no longer chase opportunities, because opportunities begin to chase you. Not because you changed your strategy, not because you elevated your connections, but because God elevated your spiritual frequency. There is a sound coming from your life that is drawing the resources assigned to your purpose. Everything you lost, everything you prayed for, everything you did not even know you needed is being drawn into your atmosphere by divine attraction. You are being repositioned by the hand of God, and this repositioning is attracting the very things that once felt distant or impossible. In this season, invisible realms are working in your favor. Heaven is engineering introductions, orchestrating connections, and aligning circumstances with your name on them. There are individuals, wealthy in wisdom, wealthy in resources, wealthy in access, whose spirits are being stirred to notice you. You don't have to promote yourself because heaven has become your advocate. What is for you will sense you, hear you, find you, and favor you. Divine attraction is pulling the right people into your orbit, the right opportunities onto your path, and the right breakthroughs into your life. This is why you cannot afford to underestimate your obedience. Every prayer you have prayed, every sacrifice you have made, every battle you thought was unnoticed has released a spiritual signal that only the people assigned to your next dimension can discern. You are not being chosen because you are the loudest. You are being chosen because you are spiritually resonant. You carry a frequency that calls forth abundance, influence, provision, and breakthrough. And even now, your next season is waking up and turning its face toward you. The doors that were once locked are responding to your presence. The individuals who once overlooked you are becoming aware of you. You are shifting into a realm where divine attraction chooses you before you even step into the room. Everything ordained for you is beginning to move, travel, rearrange, and position itself so that destiny can find you without delay. God is positioning someone influential to recognize your value unexpectedly, and this recognition will not come from the familiar or the predictable. It will come from a place you didn't see coming, through a person you never imagined, at a moment you did not plan. When God orchestrates elevation, He often uses individuals who carry the authority, resources, and access necessary to unlock your next dimension. These are not ordinary people. They are destiny carriers, strategically placed in the earth to be bridges into realms your own efforts could never reach. They don't show up because you asked for them. They show up because heaven assigned them to your timeline. Their spirit becomes stirred toward you, Their attention becomes drawn to you, and their heart becomes compelled to favor you. God whispers your name into their thoughts until what they have becomes connected to what you need. This kind of divine recognition bypasses qualifications, resumes, and earthly credentials. It is not about who you know, it is about who God sends. There are people who have been observing you quietly, people who have heard about you in circles you haven't entered, people who have been watching your consistency, your integrity, your resilience, and your spiritual endurance. And even though you felt unseen, unnoticed, and undervalued, you were being positioned in the background so that when the right person appears, they recognize not the version of you that was still becoming, but the version of you that is fully ready. God does not allow influential eyes to find you prematurely. He waits until the fullness of time when your character has been refined, your faith has been tested, and your identity has been settled. In this season, there is someone influential whose path is being divinely redirected toward you. They will not come looking for competition. They will come looking for collaboration. They are not coming to take from you. They are coming to pour into you. God is aligning them with your purpose because what you carry is necessary for what they are building, and what they carry is necessary for where you are going. Their presence in your life will feel like confirmation. Their words will feel like acceleration. Their support will feel like divine strategy unfolding. You may not know their name yet, but they already know yours. You may not understand their role yet, but God has already established their assignment. You may not see the connection now, but in the spiritual realm, the link has already been forged. Heaven is sending someone with influence, wisdom, resources, and reach to recognize what God placed inside you and to activate a level of favor that your past could not deny and your future cannot progress without. Financial miracles are drawn to atmospheres of obedience and spiritual alignment because the supernatural laws of God respond not to emotion or anxiety, but to posture, positioning, and spiritual readiness. When your heart, mind, and actions come into agreement with heaven, you create an environment where divine provision flows without resistance. Obedience is not just doing what God says, it is becoming synchronized with His voice, His timing, and His intentions. It is the state where your spirit becomes so attuned to His direction that your decisions create a highway for miracles to travel on. Every time you align yourself with God's instruction, you release a frequency that attracts what has been prepared for you in the invisible realm. Miracles do not appear randomly, they appear where alignment has made room for them. There is a dimension where financial breakthroughs no longer feel like surprises, but manifestations of spiritual laws you have activated. When your spirit is aligned with the will of God, resources that were once blocked begin to flow, opportunities that were once delayed begin to accelerate, and provisions that seemed impossible begin to materialize. You don't force it, and you don't manipulate circumstances. You simply stand in the place where obedience has positioned you. Heaven begins to respond to your posture. Angels begin to move on your behalf. Divine strategies begin to unfold in ways your natural mind could never orchestrate. Your obedience becomes the doorway through which supernatural finance enters your life. You must understand that obedience carries its own gravitational pull. It draws favor, it draws open doors, it draws unexpected assistance, it draws divine partnerships, and it draws financial increase. Every instruction you follow, every prompting you honor, every step of faith you take becomes a seed planted in the spiritual realm, and seeds always attract their harvest. The atmosphere you cultivate through obedience becomes fertile ground for miracles because you have demonstrated to heaven that you can be trusted with what you are asking for. God does not release abundance where there is disorder or rebellion. He releases abundance where there is honor, reverence, and alignment. In this season, You are being called into a level of spiritual discipline that positions you for unusual provision. This is not about striving harder. It is about listening deeper, not about doing more, but about obeying quickly. Financial miracles are already hovering over your life, waiting for the moment where your alignment creates an authorized landing place. As you stay yielded, as you remain faithful, as you continue walking in the direction God is leading you, you will begin to see resources show up without warning, solutions arrive without struggle, and breakthroughs manifest in ways that reveal they were never the result of your effort, but the consequence of your obedience and alignment. You are entering a season where what you lacked will begin to seek you, because the divine order of your life is shifting from pursuit to attraction. There was a time when you chased opportunities, stretched yourself thin trying to create your own doors, and prayed for resources that felt just out of reach. But in this new dimension, heaven is reversing the flow. What used to run from you will now run toward you. What once seemed impossible to obtain will now show up effortlessly, not because your circumstances changed, but because your spiritual position has changed. Lack is no longer your portion because God is transitioning you into a realm where provision locates you by divine assignment. Everything that was delayed is being released. Everything that was withheld is being unlocked. And everything that was stagnant is beginning to move in your direction. There are blessings that have been stored in the unseen realm, waiting for the maturity of your faith. Now that you have endured, now that you have grown, now that you have proven your resilience, heaven is authorizing what belongs to you to arise and find you. What you need is already on the way. Resources, connections, ideas, opportunities, and financial increase are shifting from the realm of waiting into the realm of manifestation. You won't have to strive for them. You only have to be positioned to receive them. When God decides that your season of lack is over, everything attached to your destiny begins to realign. Favor begins to track you. Breakthrough begins to locate you. Provision begins to chase you down with precision. This shift happens because God has broken the cycles that once drained you, the spiritual patterns that kept you stuck, the limitations that blocked your progress, the internal doubts that sabotaged your forward movement. They are being dismantled. In their place, a divine magnetism is rising within you. You will attract what is yours without manipulation, without begging, without compromising your identity. This is the season where necessity bows to destiny. Everything you lacked in previous seasons, support, clarity, finances, stability, strategy, direction, will now begin to search for you because you are aligned with the assignment God placed on your life. Your obedience has created an atmosphere where provision has permission to enter. The heavens are opening over you and releasing what was once withheld. You are stepping into a realm where blessings pursue you, where favor finds you, where opportunities recognize you, where doors respond to your presence. What you once prayed for with tears will now arrive with ease because the season has changed, the atmosphere has shifted, and everything you lacked has received a divine command to seek you out. Supernatural connections will open doors that labor could never achieve, because there are realms of elevation that human strength, strategy, or networking simply cannot access. There are places God intends to take you that require a divine escort, someone whose presence in your life becomes a spiritual key to unlock what has been closed. These connections are not accidental. They are orchestrated by heaven and timed with precision. They arrive when you have exhausted your own ability, when you have done all you know to do, when you have reached the limits of your personal capacity. It is then that God steps in and introduces relationships that carry the authority to move you into places your effort could never penetrate. These supernatural connections are marked by purpose, not convenience. They do not drain you, confuse you, or distract you. They confirm you, accelerate you, and align you. They come with evidence of divine intention. When they speak, something in your spirit recognizes the sound of destiny. When they open their hand, favor flows. When they open their mouth, wisdom is released. When they step into your life, the atmosphere of your future shifts. These are the individuals who can recommend you, endorse you, support you, or elevate you beyond anything you could have engineered. Their influence becomes a bridge between your current reality and your God-ordained future. There are people assigned to you who carry the solution to a problem you've been wrestling with. There are people assigned to you who hold the access point to territories you've been praying about. There are people assigned to you whose one act of favor can do more in a moment than your labor has been able to accomplish in years. This is why spiritual alignment matters, because heaven does not release these connections into environments dominated by fear, doubt, or instability. They come to those who are ready, those who are positioned, those who have been refined to receive without sabotaging what God is sending. As you step into this new season, the divine connections coming your way will feel different from anything you've known before. They will show up with clarity, purpose, and timing that reveal God's fingerprint. They will recognize what you carry even before you fully recognize it yourself. They will speak into your potential with accuracy, invest in your future without hesitation, and champion your destiny without competition. These relationships will open doors that seem permanently sealed, activate opportunities that were never publicly available, and usher you into arenas where your voice, gift, and assignment are needed. Your role is not to chase these connections, but to stay sensitive to the Spirit so that you recognize them when they arrive. You are stepping into a season where the right people will appear, the right doors will open, and the right opportunities will rise, not because you worked harder, but because heaven has ordained supernatural connections to carry you into the next dimension of your purpose. God is shifting you from survival into strategic abundance because the season of merely getting by has expired. There was a time when you operated in maintenance mode, stretching the little you had, fighting through limitations, and managing constant pressure just to stay afloat. That season produced endurance, but it was never meant to be permanent. Now heaven is transitioning you into a new dimension where your decisions are no longer based on scarcity, fear, or urgency, but on wisdom, clarity, and divine direction. Survival taught you how to hold on, abundance will teach you how to build. Survival shaped your resilience. Abundance will shape your influence. Survival trained you to fight. Abundance will empower you to create. The shift you are stepping into is not random. It is intentional, orchestrated, and spiritually timed. Strategic abundance is not about excess. It is about purpose. It is the kind of increase that comes with vision attached to it. God is not merely giving you more. He is giving you more with a mission. He is equipping you to make moves you could not make before, to invest in what He has placed in your spirit, to sow into assignments that require strength beyond your previous capacity. This is the season where the resources you receive will match the weight of the calling you carry. You will not just have enough to survive, you will have enough to advance, expand, and execute what God has been whispering into your heart. The shift from survival to abundance requires a new mindset. You cannot bring survival thinking into a season of supernatural provision. Scarcity thinking says, hold on, but strategic abundance says, sow wisely. Scarcity thinking says, protect the little, but strategic abundance says, use what God provides to build what God promised. Scarcity thinking reacts. Strategic abundance plans. That is why God has been stretching your faith, pruning relationships, and refining your perspective. He is preparing you to handle what He is sending. He is making sure that when the increase arrives, you don't fear it, mismanage it, or run from it, but step into it with boldness and divine confidence. In this new season, you will begin to see evidence of abundance in subtle ways before it manifests in greater ways. Ideas will come with clarity. Opportunities will come with ease. Solutions will appear where struggles once existed. Doors will open without force. Your energy will shift. Your spirit will strengthen, and your environment will begin aligning with your next level. God is transitioning you into a place where resources flow, strategies form, and vision becomes achievable. You are being positioned not just to receive abundance, but to steward it, multiply it, and use it to fulfill the assignments that survival once kept you from pursuing. The unusual and unfamiliar are divine signs of a coming elevation, because God rarely announces a new season through what feels ordinary or predictable. When heaven is preparing to shift you, the first evidence is often discomfort, change, or encounters that seem out of place. These moments are not accidental. They are prophetic indicators that God is disrupting old patterns to make room for new dimensions. The unusual begins to appear because the atmosphere around you is being recalibrated. What once felt normal no longer fits. What once felt comfortable now feels restrictive. And the people, opportunities, and environments entering your life carry a different frequency, signaling that something greater is drawing near. The unfamiliar is not your enemy, it is your invitation. When God elevates a person, He often introduces elements that stretch the mind and challenge the spirit. This is because elevation requires transformation before manifestation. If everything remained familiar, you would remain the same. But the unusual has a way of awakening desires, sharpening intuition, and breaking limitations you didn't realize were shaping your decisions. You begin to sense things differently. You perceive with greater clarity. You dream with greater boldness. The unusual serves as confirmation that God is calling you out of the cycles you've already mastered into realms you've never experienced. There will be people who enter your life carrying a grace or influence you are not accustomed to. Their presence will shift your perspective. Their conversations will challenge you to rise. Their insight will expose capacities within you that you didn't know were dormant. These are not coincidences, they are divine alignments. God sends the unusual to escort you out of the familiar. The unfamiliar forces you to rely on Him in new ways, to trust beyond your comfort, to walk by faith rather than formula. Elevation is hidden inside experiences that make you pause, question, adjust, and grow. This season requires discernment because the unusual can feel unsettling if you expect God to move in predictable patterns. But when you understand that the unfamiliar often carries the seeds of your promotion, you no longer fear it. You lean into it. Your spirit begins to recognize that disruption is not destruction. It is divine reordering. You stop resisting change and begin embracing it. You stop clinging to old identities and begin preparing for expansion. Heaven uses the unusual to draw your attention, to interrupt your routines, and to position you for opportunities that would never surface in a comfortable environment. As you navigate this transition, the unusual things happening around you are not random. They are signals that your old season has expired and your new season is emerging. God is rearranging your surroundings, introducing new voices, and preparing circumstances that may feel unfamiliar now, but will soon reveal themselves as the pathway to your elevation.